Good afternoon, New Independence Network. There are 64 days until Barack Hussein Obama is out of our White House forever. Happy day. Now, don't think that Barack Obama is going to go away quietly. Good afternoon, everybody. Barack Obama is not going to just slide out of the White House and fade off like other presidents do. You know, Bill Clinton, when he left the White House, pardon me, in 2000, he pardoned a bunch of people. The most he really did was a lot of pardons. You know, the pardon of Mark Rich was a big issue. That was a major problem. But that was really all Clinton did. He didn't get ridiculous. Obama has already passed 527 regulations, or a 527-page book of regulations, some ridiculous thing. And it doesn't matter what he passes now, because it's all going to get torn up. He thinks for a second that it's going to have any lasting impact. This is a totally different administration, folks. This is not your standard establishment coward Republican. I mean, could you imagine? You see what Obama just did? You know what that's like? Obama passing a 527-page book of regulations is a flailing attempt. That is like the Japanese setting fire to the prisoners of war when they know they're going to get overrun by the American army. That is like Hitler killing a ton of Jews and people in the concentration camps and wiping them out because they know that Russia's coming and America's coming to stop them. That's what it's like. It's just a desperation move. That's Obama being a petulant child that he is. Oh, I didn't win. I have to get my last digs in. I'll show him. This is what I do. I'm supposed to be the Emperor of the United States. See, Obama doesn't think about himself. He never thinks about himself as the president. Never has. He puts on a grand facade and pretends that he's the president and he's a person of the people. The office of president is bigger than any one man. It's a great honor. No, that's not what he thinks. That's what he says. See, this is how Democrats work. There's what they say and what they think, and they're two complete polar opposites. Obama says that no man is bigger than the office of the president. However, he always considered himself bigger than the office of the president. Just by his actions alone. I have a pen and I have a phone, meaning I can pass any executive order that I want with no repercussions. And to be honest, because of the cowards that were in Congress, the Republican cowards, the establishments and the rhinos out there, there were no repercussions because they were afraid of going after Obama for fear of being called racist. I mean, the three words, people say, they ask me all the time, why don't Republicans go after him? Why don't they impeach him? Why don't they fight him? And I'll say, it's the three words. First, black president. That's it. And Obama knew it. They had them scared. They threw down the anti-race card very, very early in his campaign. Don't you dare say anything about his race. You can't. Don't you dare. It's blasphemy. It's horrible. And they ascended Obama to such heights with this huge media propaganda push. Made him out to be a messiah and the one. You've heard. Remember when they'd say that? The one. He is the one. Like he's God. Like he's the return of Christ. Which I find funny. I love how the Democrats always love to refer to God, refer to Christ, refer to Holy Scripture when it benefits them. Otherwise, they hate it. They hate Christianity. They hate Catholicism. They hate God. They pretend like they love God. I said this one of my last updates. Hillary Clinton, when she was reading her concession speech, she made reference to Scripture. That's like the only time I ever heard her mention Scripture. I'm sure she said it before to placate her audience, to get votes, because that's what she does. Like when she was down in Selma, I think it was at that black church in Selma. She was talking in front of all those people, and she started reading a quote. I ain't no ways tired. Remember that? Talking like a what did Harry Reid call it? A Negro dialect? Yeah, that's Senator Harry Reid. This is your tolerant Democrats. Called Barack Obama, he was not threatening because he did not have a Negro dialect. Hillary Clinton panders to them too. But they never, ever mention God unless they need it. Hillary Clinton mentioned Scripture in her speech. And I said before, this is Hillary mentioning Scripture. I tweeted this out. Hillary citing Scripture is like Hitler reading from the Torah. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. It's disingenuous. And that's what Democrats are. That's what Democrats are. So the Democrats are all about division. And they use that division to scare the Republicans into challenging Barack Obama in any way, shape, or form. And the Republicans, the establishment ones, mind you, establishment and rhinos are different types of Republicans. There are good conservatives. There are the Tea Party ones and conservative ones who had the deck stacked against them. Do you know that Ted Cruz passed a ton of, or sponsored a ton of legislation, wrote a ton of bills, and not one establishment rhino, not one supported any of his bills or voted for his bills because he's an outsider. He was an outsider. He was put up to office by the Tea Party. They backed him in Texas. There was a huge movement about it. He got his position. He earned it. The establishment types didn't like that. They don't like the outside guys. They don't like the true conservatives because it breaks up the status quo. They can't go behind the scenes and smoke their cigars and drink their brandy with their buddies on the Democrat side of the aisle. They can't be buddies and friends clapping each other on the back. Oh boy, we really put a fast one on those Americans. Yeah, we'll just placate those stupid sons of bitches. That's what we're gonna do. That's what they do. We'll just take our $175,000 a year. The lobbyists will pay us millions. We'll be in great shape. That's fantastic. This is what they do. John McCain is one of them. Mitt Romney is one of them. They're all the same. They're all a bunch of scumbags. And the problem we have now is, the problem they have now is that Trump is there. And it's a very different ball game now. Could you imagine had we had conservatives in Congress, good conservatives, constitutional conservatives, Obama would never have gotten away with a thing. They would have slapped him on the wrist right away, snapped him right back. The minute he tried to violate the Constitution, break his oath of office, they would have snapped him right back. Nope. I mean, federal judges left and right kept turning down his executive orders and overruling them. You never really hear about that. It's like you'd hear the news, oh, this is the new rule. And people would go, yay! And they'd run and they'd execute the new rule based on Obama's mandate, his executive order, his decree, his loyal decree. They would run off and execute the executive order for several months until a federal judge saw it, heard the case, and went, no, that's not legal. Well, at that point, the damage has already been done. And that's why he did it. To get that liberal, extremist piece of mindset, of propaganda into the common fiber of America. It's already there. Once it's there, it's hard to get rid of. That's why getting rid of Obamacare is going to be far more difficult than we'd like to think, but it may not be as difficult as long as the Republicans will work on it. Now, there are a lot of establishment rhinos in the Congress now, but I think they're starting to see the writing on the wall. They don't think for a second that they're going to just fade away and say, oh, we're good. No, we understand. We learned our place. Not going to happen. The Bushes, McCain's, all these scumbags in there, Lynn Graham, was it Lindsey Graham? Yeah, Lindsey Graham. These guys, they want their Congress back. Just like the Democrats want their Congress back or the White House back, the establishment rhinos want it back too, so they can go back to the back rooms and slap each other on the back and shake hands and do all the stuff that they used to do before the outsiders came in and made things difficult for them. This is what's going to happen. So Obama didn't have to worry about them as a threat. He never did. And he was able to get away with everything he had to get away with. So he passes this 527 pages of regulations. They're just going to be torn up. Trump is not going to be like the establishment and say, oh, we have to just get along with this. We have to just go along with it for peace of transition, for party, for unity, for the country. No. Trump knows he was hired for a reason. Trump was elected for a reason. He was elected to change the status quo. He was elected to drain the swamp. He was elected to make America great again. And by definition, people say, oh, America was never great. No, America was always great. There's two types. America was never great, or America has always been great. And what's funny is both those two people, those two opinions, both come from the same side. They both come from the same side. The Democrats both say the same thing. You have some Democrats who say, America was always great. We don't need Trump to make it great again. Then we have others, the real extremists, who say America was never great because America's a horrible place, yet they stay here and live here. You know, these Hollywood liberal clowns who hate America, who want to leave, but then never, I'm going to leave if Donald Trump gets elected. Your Whoopi Goldbergs, your Roseanne Barrs, Barbara Streisands, Lena Dunham, that piece of crap. Such a pig she is. She really is a scumbag. Anyway, she's just really is a dump. But they all want to leave. Oh, I'm going to get out. Who is that? Bryan Cranston, who turned around and you know, congratulations to President Trump. He understands what's going on. You talk a lot of smack, and then he flipped back because he doesn't want to damage his career. But here's the funny part about these Hollywood liberals, these hypocrites. They hate Trump so much. They want to leave America so badly. America's a terrible place because we elected Trump, right? It's even worse now that Trump has been elected. It's worse. Okay. Then don't take his tax cut. You're going to benefit the most from his massive tax cut. Don't take it. Disregard the tax cut. Say, hey, you know what? I don't want the tax cut. I'm going to give you as much as I paid before. Of the millions that I make every year, I'll give you as much as I paid before. Not a problem. Don't take the tax cut. You're fine. We'll take it back. We'll take it. We'll take your extra money. It'll help. I mean, you're so impassioned about helping the country. Give us extra money to put back into infrastructure, to help develop the country, to make it a better place. Please. Oh, you won't do that, liberal Hollywood. You won't. Why? Why would you take a tax cut from a man who you think is going to destroy America? I mean, if everything he does and everything he proposes to do is to the detriment of the country, then why would you accept a tax cut from this man? That must be detrimental as well, yes? Dave Chappelle was on Saturday Night Live doing his monologue, and he says, hey, man, I'm going to give the guy a chance because I want the tax cut. There you go. He may not like him, but he's going to try to benefit from him. They hated Reagan. Hey, liberals hated Ronald Reagan. They hated him. But I'll tell you what, in the 80s, everything was phenomenal. It did so well economically. It did so well. These Hollywood liberals, all these musicians, all these liberal clowns, they benefited tremendously. They made such wealth under Reagan and Reagan's policies that they would sit there and have their crybaby little songs about how he's going to destroy the world. And most of it was your British performers, your British people, your English, your Europeans, like Nane and 99 Luftballons about nuclear war, but that was in general speaking, or Tears for Fears about how everybody wants to rule the world. Genesis, Land of Confusion, and they were anti-Reagan. But all these Brits and these foreigners, because they're a bunch of socialists anyway. So their opinions mean zero. They mean absolutely nothing. But this is what we have to deal with, is the hypocrisy of the left. They're so ridiculously hypocritical. I mean, who is it? Leonardo DiCaprio took 6 different private flights around the world for, I guess, to espouse his opinions against global warming. That's a private jet, man. If global warming or climate change is so destructive, then why are you taking a private jet? Because DiCaprio is a hypocrite, just like all the rest. Speaking of, did you hear about Kanye West? Kanye West had a 40-minute opening monologue at his concert. I don't know if it was opening, but it was a monologue at his concert, where he said he did not vote, but if he did vote, he would have voted for Donald Trump. Oh, the crowd went crazy. They were cursing at him and throwing shoes and booing. Because that's not the base. That's not the... I mean, most of your people going to a Kanye concert are blacks, right? It's going to be a large portion of his audience. And they don't want to hear that. Trump is a racist. Trump is a homophobe. He's a xenophobe. He's a bigot. That's what they always say. This isn't Kanye West. Well, I think Kanye West might be trying to be a little more political here, because didn't he say he wanted to run in 2020? I think he mentioned that during the campaign. I'm going to run in 2020. Remember that. Could you imagine that? Kanye West running for president. Kim Kardashian being the first lady. Oh, good God. The millennials would be voting in 2 seconds for those clowns. And then they talk about Trump having no experience. He has no experience, but they'll vote for Kanye. You bet your ass they will. I bet, 70% of those protesters at the colleges, 70% of them did not even vote. 70% of them, either they did not vote or weren't registered to vote. Either way, they did not vote. 70% of those protesting, those millennial snowflakes on college campuses, did not vote. Guarantee you, if Kanye runs, oh yeah, they'll be voting. Oh, they'll vote. They'll sign up. They'll go out of their way to vote. Well, as long as they can vote through their cell phone or vote from behind their computer, because they really don't do anything else. They stand there protesting, do as little as possible. Maybe go to a Starbucks. If they can vote from a Starbucks, then maybe they'll do that. Bunch of losers. Future of America, guys. Start raising your children properly. Teach them some responsibility. Speaking of that, did you see the story about the Baltimore school teacher that flipped out on her class? It was, I forget the name of the school, but it was in Baltimore. It was a black school. And the kids, the teacher flips out. And she screamed at them and she said, "You're going to end up being another dead N-word on the street if you don't get an education." She just used it as a general term. Yeah, it's the wrong word. It's so taboo. I get it. The blacks use it all the time. Black performers use it constantly. They say it back and forth all the time. So I thought the word had no power. I thought that they used the word. I thought they took the word back. I'm not condoning the use of it, but I'm looking at the hypocrisy of it. They took the word back to take away its power, to take away its negativity. They turned a negative into a positive. I thought that's what they were doing, right? So, but no one else can say it but them. But even if you're talking just in general terms, you're going to be another dead N-word on the street. She's not saying you are an N-word. She's just saying empirically, which is what they always talk about in their songs. Anyway, she got fired, which, probably shouldn't have said it. That was stupid. Shouldn't have said it. She got fired, understandably. But did you see the video? Watch the video. It's out there. The kids in this classroom are acting like absolute animals, total reprobates. They're yelling, screaming, running around class, not listening to the teacher when she says sit down. They're misbehaving tremendously, and they push this woman, and she's a white teacher, push her to the breaking point. They pushed her to her breaking point. She was trying to get through to these kids to help them learn. This is what teachers try to do, is help you learn. But they didn't listen, of course. Now, the parents, they interviewed the parents. The reporter, his name was Rick Ritter. He was interviewing the parents, showing them cell phone footage of the video, but you don't put it in context. The parents once, not once, did they look at that video and say, why are my kids acting like that? Why are these kids misbehaving so badly? Where are their parents? Why have they been taught discipline? Why are they acting like fools? Why are they acting like animals? Not once. They're like, that's not right. You shouldn't say that in school. You shouldn't say those things. This is a black school. Well, look how the kids are acting. I'm not justifying the use of the word, but look how the kids are acting. Why don't you point your attention toward the important thing, how bad the children are behaving and the discipline. And maybe, just maybe, your kids will go to school and act like mature adults or mature disciplined children, sit there, try to learn, and you wouldn't have to worry about a teacher blowing her top because your kids aren't acting like idiots. This is this is why liberals want free college. This is why liberals love to have control of the education system, because all they do is dumb down children. They brainwash them into believing in liberal ideals and socialistic ideals, and they convey propaganda to them from grade school through high school and through college. That's why Hillary wanted free college for students. She didn't want free college just to make it affordable for kids. No. Give free college to kids. Every kid gets to go to college if they want to go. They all go to college. And guess what? Now they're being indoctrinated by liberal teachers, liberal professors in college. So you have 16 years. And if they go grad school, post-grad, even more. Of pure liberal indoctrination. It's pure brainwashing. That's why the National Education Association, the teachers union, should be totally scrapped and rebooted, man. Get the liberals out of it. I think that the head of I forget the name of the school now. Good Lord, what was the name of that school? Yeah, I forget. A school teaches constitutional law as part of a prerequisite. Teaches the Constitution. It's going to come to me. It's on the tip of my tongue. But they require every one of their students to learn the Constitution. And the person in charge of that school is being considered for the education secretary. Oh, well, you're looking about conservatives. Oh, and appointments. Donald Trump has made appointments. He has made several appointments, and two of them came out today. I liked Jeff Sessions was named for the Attorney General. Jeff Sessions. Fantastic pick, by the way. I would have preferred Ted Cruz myself, but Jeff Sessions it's kind of a give and take. It's both one of the same. Jeff Sessions is a conservative, strong on constitutional law, very, very strong upholder of the Constitution. Beautiful. He's Attorney General. Fantastic. Fantastic. And what was the other gentleman that was Pompeo from Kansas? Pompeo was appointed the CIA, director of the CIA, Pompeo. And here's a guy who was a West Point graduate, finished first in his class, and he was a Harvard Law grad and editor of the Harvard Law Review. And I guarantee we're going to actually see his college records, Obama. Oh, whoops. But yeah, we know for a fact he went to Harvard. There's proof that he did. We know that he graduated from Harvard, and we know he was the editor of the Harvard Review. So, another good conservative. Trump is filling his cabinet with constitutional conservatives. I love it. I love it. Constitutional law. And you know that it's a good pick when the NAACP, the NAA, I love what Rush Limbaugh calls it, the NAALCP, because it's never the National Advancement for National Association for Advancement of colored people. It's only liberal colored people. It doesn't matter if anybody attacks you when you're black conservative or Republican. It doesn't matter to them. Just liberals. Anyway, they came out and they went after Jeff Sessions. They issued a statement right here. Quote, Jeff Sessions has a decades-long record from his early days as a prosecutor to his present role as senator of opposing civil rights and equality. It is unimaginable that he could be entrusted to serve as the chief law enforcement officer for this nation's civil rights laws. Yet, wait, it continues. This is yet another signal from the incoming administration that it is not only prepared to turn its back on equality, it is actively working to continue to sow division and undo decades of progress. End quote. Are you kidding me? This is how deluded these clowns are. Barack Obama has been at the forefront of division in this country. He has set race relations back 50 years. He makes people think that blacks are still getting lynched in the streets on a regular basis. That's not even remotely close, not even a fractionally close to what's been going on. But Barack Obama has increased racial division. He has inflamed the racial divide in this country. He is all about division. I mean, he came out and made a statement that he basically supports the protesters. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Well, of course, he wants you to keep doing what you're doing because Barack Obama was a rabble rouser. He was a community organizer. All he knows is stirring up dissent, creating trouble, causing problems, and starting riots. That is Barack Obama's M.O. He was only elected because he was black. Very simple. That's the truth. He would never have won if it were a white candidate acting that way. Would not have happened. There was a lot of white guilt on one side. On the Republican side, a lot of people said, we're going to vote because it's going to show we're not racist. You shouldn't have to vote to show you're not racist. Just the world itself, the country itself shows you're not racist. It just does. Do you have people walking down the street? Can blacks sit at the counter with everybody else? Can they ride on the bus with everybody else? Can they get a house? Can they get a job? Can they own a car? Do they have a cell phone? They do the same thing as everybody else does. The same thing. This is the part that drives me crazy about liberals. When you have, first off, the liberals love to divide. We know this. They're all about division. They divide in terms of groups. They're blacks or women or Hispanics or Latinos or LGBTQ element of P. They do, okay? But they use those groups to get votes. I've said this time and time again, and I will continue to say it. They use those groups to get votes. But the part that kills me is a lot of those groups, specifically the liberals, are very hypocritical. They say, we want to be treated equally. Women say, we want to be treated equally as men. We want to be treated the same way. Do you really? Some blacks, and look, there's black Americans out there who work hard. They do their job. They do whatever. They're just regular people who have families, who work and do job, and they don't rely on the government for stuff. They don't accuse the government of racism. They just do their job. They take the breaks. They take the punches as they come. They don't look for a scapegoat. Same with Hispanics. Same with any other group. There's certain people who just live their lives and do their job. Great. And that's how it should be, because we're all Americans. Very simple. But we're talking about those who love to divide themselves. They love the division, and here's why. If you say to if there's a black liberal out there, and he says, we, or a group, they say, we need to be treated equally. So, okay, we'll treat you equally. You give the same breaks. So here's what we're going to do. If you're a black American, if you're a liberal, but you want to be treated like everybody else, okay, we're going to take away affirmative action. We're going to take away quotas. We're going to take away any government assistance that you may get for starting a business. We're going to take away any discounts you might get for starting a business or receiving a loan. We're going to take away all of that, any assistance, any advancement, a chance to get into school. We're going to take away that. We're going to take away any mention of gender or race on a college application to show no favoritism whatsoever based on race, color, or ethnicity. Take it all away. Okay? Now, How's that? Oh no, we've been deprived. We need the help. We need help. We have to get assistance because we've been beaten. But you want to be treated equally. We've been beaten down for years. That's past. It's 2016 now. Okay. As much as you want to believe it's still the civil rights era of 1964, over 50 years ago, it's 2016 now. We had the first black president already. We have CEOs. We have team owners. We have people who are blacks that are in high positions, respectful positions, who do great things. Artists, athletes, scientists, they're everywhere. So if you want to be treated equally, we'll treat you equally. There it is. You have the same chance as any white man out there. A white straight male versus you. I would trade places with a white straight male any day. That's what they say, right? No, you wouldn't. The problems you put... Look, there are racist people out there. There are always going to be racist people on both sides. Whether black or white or Hispanic or whoever. There's always going to be somebody who's racist. That's just the way the world is. It always has been and always will be. You're not going to get rid of it all. But the vast majority of people are not racist. The vast majority of people in this country specifically do not want division. They want everybody to just work and do their jobs, pay their taxes, stay out of trouble, abide by the law, and live and thrive. That's what they want. But you don't want that equality. If you wanted to be treated like a standard white man who has to work every day, take it from one here, you wouldn't want to do it. I don't get any assistance on my loans. I get turned down for mortgages. If I were black, I would get approved for one, because then I would cry discrimination if I didn't get approved. I don't get any assistance to get into a college. I have to get in there on my merits alone. I have no assistance from skin color or gender. None. Women are the same way. There's women out there who are, especially your feminists, most specifically, women have to be treated equally as men. We have the same opportunities. Okay, fine. Same opportunities. You can't. No. Come on. You want to play football with men? Come play football. But I'll tell you what, we're going to knock your ass off when you're playing. Watch what happens when you're playing with a bunch of men. I'm not going to pull kid gloves. You can't treat her that way. She's a woman. Wait a second. You can't have it both ways. Either you want to be equal or you want to be separate. There's no splitting the two. It's one or the other. Or there's no combining the two. One or the other. Either separate or equal. One of the two. Do you want special treatment, or do you want to be treated just like the rest of us? Because the rest of us, meaning, of course, they mean white males, it ain't no peaches and cream over here. It's no picnic. It's no picnic. I'm not saying it's terrible. You don't know what's going on. Look, man, I'm not talking about the inner city stuff. I'm not talking about that, okay? Those are societies that the black Americans could fix on their own. They can fix it. They'd have to police themselves. I lived in an area that had a lot of black people, and there was a bad element that moved in, okay? And a lot of troublemakers moved into the area, and you'd be amazed how many people just shut up and I'm not going to say a word, I don't see anything. Things go down and they don't say a word. I did. I would speak up. I'd call the cops. I'd tell them to shut up. But they don't want to do that for fear of being called rats or for fear of repercussions. But if you just stand up and call the police to stop the issues and keep calling the cops when things go wrong, then the troublemakers, the bad element, will move on. Especially if you do it anonymously. You don't have to leave your name with the cops or your address. You just got to leave it anonymously and say, this is what it is. I need you to take care of this. Do a drive-by. Check it out. Cops will do it. The cops that you hate so much. They'll do it. This is what they sow the seeds of division. Liberals love division. The NAACP, they really do think that Trump is going to reinstitute slavery. I mean, I really think they believe that. That's how insane that they are. They do think that. Joe Biden said it. I said this before and I'll say it again. Joe Biden said it in the 2012 presidential campaign versus Mitt Romney. He said to a black audience, they're going to put you all back in chains. Seriously. They're going to put you all back in chains. And the people, that's right, they're going to. Seriously? You actually believe that crap? This is what they believe. They're insane. Liberalism is a disease. It is a psychological disorder. It seriously is. These people are absolutely crazy. The stuff they believe in, the stuff that if anybody else said it, you would go, you're nuts. If you took a person and they didn't know anything about it, no political affiliation, just a total stranger from another planet, and they showed up and you said, this is what we want to do, they would go, what? Are you nuts? Why would you want to do that? Why would you even want to? That doesn't make any sense. Half the stuff that these liberals propose makes no sense. It's counterproductive to what America really is. But that's the whole point. They want to reshape America into what they want. I mean, ABC News, this NAACP quote was reported by ABC News, because ABC News, they want that unity now. They're trying to the unity, but the unity doesn't exist. And of course, the DNC gave the ABDNC News their marching orders to. Well, now we have to go after Jeff Sessions. Now we have to make sure they had it in right ready to go. If Jeff Sessions is picked, you have a quote. Yeah, here's our quote. Just make sure you put that out there. Once Jeff says, okay, I got it. Once he's approved, we're going to put that out there. What if it was Ted Cruz? No, same thing. Okay, what if it's somebody else? No, we'll do the same thing. It's always about racism. We got to do that. We got to fan the flames of racism. Okay. That's what ABC News does. Part of the propaganda media. And of course they had come out and what do? They go to the Twitter account. They go to the Twitter account of David Duke, a private citizen who, KKK member? I don't even know if he's still a KKK member, former KKK member, whatever he is. They went after him because he praised the appointment of Sessions and Pompeo, whatever it is. And they reported it like it's like big news. It's a regular person. It's like anybody else. It just happens to be a former KKK member. Well, here's the funny part. They report a private citizen making his opinion on Twitter, espousing his opinion on Twitter as if it's big news. Meanwhile, the Democrats had Senator Byrd, the Grand Kleagle of the KKK, a Grand Wizard of the KKK. We're talking about one of the highest ranks of the KKK. He was a senator, a Democrat senator for over 30 years. You got to ignore that. They have to ignore that, right? How about all the segregationists who stayed Democrat? Now, I love the people that argue and say, no, they switched over, man. They switched over. They were Democrat, the racists, the Democrat racists. They switched over and they became Republicans. The segregationists. No, that's not true. One did. Only one. Strom Thurmond is the only one after the 1964 Civil Rights Act who switched over to become a Republican. Everybody else stayed segregationist and stayed Democrat. Well, then they change it. Then they move the goalpost. This is what liberals do. They move the goalpost. You counter them with fact, and then they move the goalpost to try to re-quantify the argument. No, their constituents changed over, man. They're the ones who became Republicans. No, that's not true either. That's not true either. You got to read your history and understand the facts. Of the vast majority of them, a handful did. The vast majority of them stayed Democrat. Democrats are the real racists. They play the race card all the time. They use blacks, they use Hispanics, they use Latinos, they use Muslims, they use women. That's what they do. They don't look at America as one country. They look at us as a group of individuals, small groups of individuals, just groups. It's never just Americans. It's this type of America, that type of American, that type of American. In Black America, you ever hear that news? In Black America, in Hispanic America today, it's never really Hispanic America, though. It's always Black America, which is really odd. I find that very odd. See, you know what it is? It's because they're inherently still anti-slavery, or they're inherently still pro-slavery. Inherently, they're still pro-slavery. They're anti-reunification. They're anti-desegregation. Still they are. I mean, they pretend like they aren't, but they still are. You can't get rid of it because it's part of the culture. It's bred in from generation to generation among Democrats. How can you say that? We're not racist, but you are racist. Look at your politicians. They don't help black Americans at all. And I'm talking specifically against black Americans because they're the ones they use the most. They use them the most to get votes. And I loved how a lot of black Americans voted for Trump. They saw past the BS. They're starting to educate themselves. This is what liberals don't want. They don't want minorities to learn truth. They don't want that. If they start losing the minorities, they lose everything. Because they can't win it with women. That was proven this election. They tried women. That didn't work. They tried Hispanics. That didn't work. Only thing that worked for them was popular vote. Because I guarantee you, mark my words, the popular vote, when you get rid of the 2 to 3 million illegals that probably voted in this election, Donald Trump also wins the popular vote. And where does the biggest part of the popular vote come from? California. And where there are a lot of illegals? California. Tons and tons of them there. Sanctuary cities out there. San Francisco and so forth. I think San Diego is one now too, I don't even know. But it's all about division. These Democrats are absolutely insane. So this is what they're going to keep doing, though, folks. They're going to keep dividing us every day as much as they possibly can. Every single solitary pick that Donald Trump makes, every single pick is going to be racist. Racist, something about racism. Racist. It's racist. You watch. It's always going to be something about division, about racism, about xenophobia, about homophobia, every single pick. Because Trump's not going to be a kind of person that's going to reach across the aisle and just pick a Democrat just to be nice, like other Republican presidents, rhinos like George W. Bush had done in the past. Oh, we'll leave a Democrat in there as a good faith gesture. No. His job was to drain the swamp. And he's going to reshape the way this country works. It's going to work for the people, not for the special interests. It's going to work for the people to unite them, not to divide them into smaller groups. It's going to work for the people to make America great. And what I mean by making America great again is learning responsibility, understanding that we can do great things in society. We are the biggest power in the world, and we need to act like the biggest power in the world. There's nothing worse than having a person who is uber charismatic, uber powerful, uber influential, uber strong, and then have them shrink away and sit in the corner and do nothing with that ability. If you're that powerful and that strong, you have to use it. And you have to be a beacon for the rest of the world to guide them into greatness. They need to look up to you and go, wow, I aspire to be that guy. I aspire to be great like him. Believe it or not, Trump does that with people. People look at a man as a businessman, multi-billionaire, who fought to become president. He worked out of obscurity, basically, political obscurity, became president. And there's a lot of people out there who are getting a lot of bad breaks out of work, working low-paying jobs, working 2 or 3 jobs, struggling to get by in this hellacious economy that Obama still ignores as being a terrible economy, and the media, of course, will ignore that. They look up at Trump and they go, he's saying the right things, man. And not only is he saying them, he's done it. He's leading by example. I could be him too. Herman Cain was a perfect example. He grew up in civil rights era Georgia, I think it was. I mean, you go talk racism. There's where racism comes from. Before the civil rights, huge in the South, Democrats. Then it was all Democrats. And he came from nothing. Now he's a CEO. Condoleezza Rice, though she was supporting Hillary, because she's a turncoat and she's a rhino, but she's still self-made. She's still self-made. She brought herself up. Got her education, worked hard. Was Secretary of State. There's a lot of respect there. Look up to those people. Look up to those people who come from nothing and make themselves into something. And they look up to Trump for that reason. And they go, man, I could be something like him one day. At least aspire to get close to it. And you know what? That's what the other countries in this world have to look at America to be. They look at us and go, wow, we could be like that. That's how it should be. There's always going to be haters out there. It's normal. It's going to happen. But you know what? You just keep driving forward. You don't change to the haters to make them like you. You be true to who you are. As my parents always say to me, be a leader, not a follower. And that's what America needs. We need to be a leader in this world for the future. And Donald Trump is the right person to teach us to be a leader and make us in that position to do the right thing. And that's why Democrats fear him so much. So, that's our update for today. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. It's been a pleasure. And we'll be talking to you really soon. This is New Independence Network.